The SI unit of electric current is ampere. The change in the focal length of an eye lens is controlled by the ciliary muscle. Write the symbol of electric circuits. Electric cell and the rheostat. What the problem will occur when it lies a live wire and a neutral wire are connected directly to the household electric appliance from the electric poles. Answer: leads to overloading, leads to short circuit and causes the damage of the appliance. Lead to overloading. Overload may take place, leads to short circuit. Connecting resistors in parallel in domestic circuit is better than the connecting them in the series. How? Total resistance of the decreases, current through the circuit increase when one component of fails in the circuit, other component are not affects. If one component fails, next does not affects to the another components, or circuit may increase. How do magnetic lines appear when electric current passes through a circular loop of confusing wire? Field lines appear as concentric circles at every point on conductor. At the center of the circular loop, field lines appear as straight lines. Field lines appear as a concentric circles in each and every point. Explain the function of earth wire. Low resistance conducting path of current. Leakage flows to the earth. Protect the user's electric appliance. It is always control or protect the electric. Observe the figure. There is a rainwater. Look at the figure and whether this phenomena can be occur in the moon. Can you? No, it cannot be. Why? Why it cannot be possible? Because there is no atmosphere, no air, no water, no rain, so there is no refraction. Explain the activity of verify Fleming's left hand rule. Take a small aluminum rod AB used to connecting wires suspended at horizontal form a strand. Place a horseshoe magnet in such a way that the rod lies between the two poles with the magnetic field directed upwards. Pass current through aluminum rod from B to A. Then the rod is displaced towards the left. So this shows Fleming's left hand rule. I mean, the aluminum rod has connecting the one of the magnet, that is horseshoe magnet, which is varies from place left. Draw the ray diagram for the imagined formation of a convex lens when the object is placed between the optical center O and the principal focus F1. Mention the position and the nature of the image is formed. This is one of the most important question. Why? Because ray diagram is one of the compulsory diagram in the SLC. So, what you have, read, learn and come. Composition of image is same like side of the lens. Nature is virtual and the erect, and what you get, large. Observe. Observe the figure given below. Name the defects of the eye What causes this defect? How can be correct? There is a one figure. Observe this and shows which defects is this. Answer: hypermetropia. Because focal length is too long, eyeball is very small, and using the convex lens, it can be correct. You all know for the hypermetropia convex lens. Stars twinkle, but not the at planet. Twinkle, twinkle due to the atmosphere refraction. Planets do not because very much closer to the Earth. Planets are very closely to the Earth. State Ohm's law. The potential difference V across ends of the given end of a given metallic wire in an electric circuit is directly proportional to the current flowing through it at constant temperature. So, V is directly proportional to I. V means potential difference. Mention the factors on which the resistance of the conductor depend. The length of the conductor, area of cross section, material of conductor, and the temperature of the conductor. This is one of the most important question. So length, area, and the goes to part B. A salt is used to remove the permanent hardness of sodium carbonate. As the pH value of the neutral solution decreases, then concentration of H plus ion is increases. Electron configuration of the element A, B, C respectively are 2,8, 2,88 and 287. Among these elements that can be react with other to form the ionic element A and C. Why? Because A is what is galvanization? The process of coating iron with a thin layer of zinc to or to protect the corrosion. Hydrogen gas is not evolved when a metal reacts with nitric acid. Why? Nitric acid is a very strong oxidizing agent. What is the reason for tooth decay? Explain. How can this be prevented? Bacteria present in the mouth produced acids by degradation of sugar and food particles remains in the mouth after eating. So the pH in the mouth decrease and tooth enamel gets corroded. For this prevented, we have to use the toothpaste or daily toothbrush is can be prevent the tooth decay. On heating crystal of copper sulfate, its blue color disappears. Give the reason for this change. How can blue color of copper sulfate is restored? Answer is copper loses the water of crystallization. And the second one, by adding few drops of water. By adding the few drops of the copper sulfate or it loses the water. Write the electron dot structure of hydrogen and the ethane. Electron dot structure is one of the most important question in the chemistry part. So this is one of the most important questions. Balanced equation NaOH plus H2SO4 gives Na2SO4 plus H2O, where 2 NaOH and in second 2 and 4. Zinc oxide plus carbon gives zinc and carbon monoxide. Oxidant is C and the reduced is zinc oxide. Mention the meaning of chemical reactions. What do you mean by the thermal decomposition? Thermal recomposition means carried out by heating. The reaction is carried out by heating. Displacement reaction. More reactive element displaces to the reactive, less reactive from its solution. So these two are one of the most important. It may ask for 1 mark also. So, displacement or double displacement also important. Rancidity. Rancidity means change in the smell and taste of the food material containing oil and fats due to oxidation. When you open the chips packet, it undergo a rancidity. What is neutralization reaction? How can sodium chloride be obtained by neutralization method? Write the balanced chemical equation for this reaction. The reaction between an acid and the base to give a salt and water. This reaction is called as a neutralization reaction. Example is HCl plus NaOH gives NaCl and the water. Explain the cleaning action of soaps. Dirt is oily in the nature. Oil do not dissolve in water. Soap end interacts with water. Carbon interacts with oil. So there is a miscellany formation as takes place and emulsion in water also forms. So miscellany helps remove the dirt in water. Of course, you know that oil is very dirty particle either in the uh, vessel or in soap clothes. What is esterification? Mention uses of ester. Chemical reaction between ethanoic acid and ethanol is called as esterification. It is also important for 1 mark. Uses of ester is sweet smelling, perfumes, soap, flavoring agent. Write two difference between the saturated and the unsaturated hydrocarbons. Saturated, it is a single bond, less reactive. Substitution reaction, alkanes are the example. Unsaturated, double or a triple bond, more reactive. Addition reaction, alkene or the alkynes are the example for the unsaturated hydrocarbons. What are the structural isomers? Write the structure of butane. Carbon or compounds with identical molecular formula but different structures is called as a structural isomerism. Identical molecular formula but different structure. Let's go with part 3. Rhizopus spore formation, spirogyra, fragmentation. Spirogyra is always undergoing fragmentation. Osmotic pressure in plant is necessary for dash the transportation of material to tissue that have low pressure. So this is also osmotic pressure is definitely takes place in the plants. So it is very important for the plants. Pathway of movement of gametes in flower is first stigma, next passes into the pollen tube, and the last it passes to the ovary. So this is a pathway. Surgical method of contraception is better than the oral method of the contraception. Why? Oral method change the hormonal balance or side effects, but surgical method are very safe, does not give any hormone imbalance or does not give any side effects. So surgical method is the safest method for the contraception between surgical. What is ozone? What is the advantages of this layer to the organization on the earth? Ozone is called O3. It protects the earth surface from the ultraviolet radiation from the sun. Of course, you know that earth is always protective kinds from the UV radiation by the layer of ozone. Exact copy of the progenies of the parent organism cannot be produced in sexual reproduction? Justify or give the answer. Fusing gametes come from two different and the sexual distinct individual. Formation of gametes involves meiosis. So, sexual reproduction always leads to variation. Fusing gametes come from two different. Of course, you know that sexual reproduction takes place by the male and the female. What are the biodegradable and the non-biodegradable substance? Give an example for each. Biodegradable, decomposed of the microorganism, do not cause biomagnification. It converts into compost. The example are the kitchen waste and the paper. Biodegradable, non-biodegradable, not decomposed by the microorganism, cause biomagnification. It can be recycled. Example is plastic, metal, etc. And the example for non-biodegradable. Role of the uterus and placenta are complementary to each other in the development of a child. Explain. What are the rules or a role of uterus and the placenta in the case of birth of a child? Uterus is an elastic bag-like structure where the embryo is implanted and develops organs to become fetus. During pregnancy period, the embryo gets nutrition from the mother blood with help of disc-shaped special tissue embedded in the uterine wall is called placenta. This role of the uterus and the placenta are complementary to each other in the development of child. So, there is a fetus is very connected with the placenta or the embryo. During the pregnancy, the placenta is very important. Position of the testes and the human male reproduction system and the role of prostate glands are complementary to each other. How? Explain. You have to write what the answer for this for the question is about the testes and the human male reproductive system. The male reproductive system is having this sperm formation require lower temperature than the body temperature. To this to achieve this, testis is located in the scrotum outside the body. Prostate gland makes transportation of sperm easier, provide nutrition to the sperms. Position of the testes and the human male reproductive system and the role of posture are complementary to each other. So, sperm formation, this is one of the most important question. Sperm formation requires a lower body temperature. That's why this is located in the lower part of our body or the male body or it present or it outside the body. How do climbing plants show directional movement? Explain. Climbing plants means creepers. When the tendrils of the creeper plants come in contact with a support, the plant circles around it and grows very fast. When the tendrils get attached to support, the tips of the plant synthesis auxin hormone at higher concentration and stimulates the elongation cells. Then the plant shows directional movement. Of course, you know that plant is moved towards the sunlight as well the towards the water towards the soil as well. Creepers is also moved towards the plants around it. Mention the function of thyroxine and the adrenaline hormones in the human body. Thyroxine is very important to regulate the carbohydrates, protein, fats metabolism. Adrenaline means this hormone is control the heartbeat, BP, breathing rate, prepare the body to face the situations. I mean, it will be used in the case of